Welcome to iLecture The principle of least action is something that's kind of difficult to understand, so I thought it might be a good idea to do a video series on it to try and help explain what it actually means and then how to apply it to Hamiltonian and Lagrangian type of principles in order to solve some more complicated problems. So first we're going to take a look at the conceptual look at what it really means. Then we'll show you some simple examples to try and get the hang of what it means, and then we'll see how it's applied. Essentially, it helps us solve problems by just looking at the energy of the particle and not looking at the forces applied to the particle. For that, we need to use F equals ma, and even though that's a powerful means of solving problems, you'll find that sometimes using the energy of the particle makes it easier to solve problems. But first, we need to understand the concept of the principle of least action. So I try to put a standard definition down. Let's read it together. A particle moving under the influence of a force, like a gravitational force, will take a path in such a manner that the time average kinetic energy of the particle minus the time average potential energy of the particle is a minimum. And that's the key of the definition. If we take the time average kinetic energy, subtract from that the time average potential energy, the difference should be a minimum, and if it's a minimum, that will be the path the particle will take. In other words, the path taken, and I need an n behind it right here, will result in the minimum of the difference between the average kinetic energy and the average potential energy of the particle along the path. That sum, if we average up all the kinetic energy and all the potential energy, the sum is called the action. So let's take a look at this graph here. Let's say that this is the path a particle takes. It starts at t0, t initial, and it ends at t final. It takes a certain amount of time, the difference between t final and t initial. And let's say that for each small section of the path that the particle takes, we'll take the kinetic energy over that section and the potential energy over that section, subtract the two, and multiply times delta t. We do that again for the next section, the next section, the next section, all the way along its path. We add up all those portions, and the sum of all of them should be a minimum and will be a minimum if the particle takes the path based upon the principle of least action. So what we're saying is a particle will do that, will indeed take the path such that the sum of all these is indeed a minimum. So that sum again is called the action, and it's represented by the letter S. So now in the limit, if we take more and more samples, we take the individual sections of the path smaller and smaller and smaller, so that in the limit we take an infinite number of samples where delta t becomes equal to 0 or approaches 0. So again, we make the number of samples go to infinity, we'll let the delta t go to 0, and then that summation will then become an integral. What are we integrating? We're integrating the kinetic energy as a function of time and the potential energy as a function of time. We take the difference between those two, and then we integrate that all the way from the initial point of the path to the final point of the path, and that integral represents the action, and the path taken will result in the minimum action along that path. At least that's a definition that still may not be satisfactory in trying to understand what this means, but don't worry, stay tuned. We have some additional videos that slowly but surely will analyze and pull this whole thing apart in such a way that we'll understand it after a few more videos. But at least we're starting with the basic definition, and now stay tuned and we'll show you some additional information that will help you understand this actually kind of complicated principle of least action.